What is going on, college sports fans? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be recapping day 2 of March Madness, and it was another great slate of games today. Some more blowouts. The stars were shining today in these games. Not as many upsets, but we had a good amount of upsets yesterday. It's still some great games that went down to the wire. We're going to get into all of them here in a minute. At the end of this video, we're going to go to our ESPN Tournament Challenge group and see who is in the lead like we did yesterday. So if you're interested in only that, you can skip to that, or you can skip to whichever game if you want to hear me recap about, because I'm going to go through them in order starting now. Subscribe if you guys are new. Let's get right into it, man. All right, so first game, we started off with Loyola Chicago versus Ohio State, and this one was very disappointing to me because I was really rooting for Loyola Chicago in this game. As you can see, I got the flag up there. I love Sister Jean, bro, and I wanted to see them make a run. They just weren't there offensively. I mean, this was a defensive battle. Loyola Chicago especially was playing very sloppy this game. E.J. Liddell, he had a double-double. He played a great game. Ohio State just played a great defensive game all around. And really the entire second half and the end of the first half, they just controlled them defensively and ended up pulling out the dub. So good job, Buckeyes. That was a really hard game. And I look forward to seeing them against Villanova because I think Ohio State will have a good shot at them. And then we had Auburn versus Jacksonville State. Actually, it was kind of close up until the second half. I think it was tied, or I think a 1 or 2 point game at halftime. But then Auburn really pulled away there in the second half. Jabari Smith had a big game. Again, E.J. Liddell, Jabari Smith having big games today. It's going to be a recurring story. The stars were shining today. Then Texas Tech just absolutely blew Montana State out the water. I wasn't even watching any of this game. I was watching the Loyola Ohio State game, and I just seen the score was like Texas Tech was already up by like 20, 10 minutes into the game, and I was like, all right, yeah, Texas Tech, y'all got it. I ain't even going to worry about tuning into that one. I would just move on and watch some other games. Then we had Yale versus Purdue. This one was semi-close. Yale hung around there in the first half, but Purdue was in control the entire game, and then they really pulled away in the second half. Jaden Ivey had a big first half, just had a big game. Zach Edey was playing very well. Like I said, the stars were shining today. Delaware versus Villanova. Now, this one, Delaware, the Blue Hens, they were hanging around there in the first half. End of the first half, Villanova went on like an 8-0 run. I think Justin Moore hit 2 big threes right before halftime, and then they were up by 10 at halftime instead of 2 because of that 8-0 run right before the half. And then that kind of just killed Delaware's momentum, and they never recovered from that. Villanova controlled the rest of the game and ended up winning there as expected. Now, we finally get into a pretty close game. This was one of the best games all day, maybe the best game all day, as Miami beats USC. And Charlie Moore played an amazing game. It was actually tied. Charlie Moore dribbled down the court. He was looking for a shot, and he got fouled on the elbow as he put up a floater with about 3 seconds left, and that gave Miami the lead, his 2 foul shots. And then USC, they had one last shot with 3 seconds left, no timeouts. They had to go full length of the court. They throw it down to about half court, or just right before half court. This guy who, mind you, he just hit back-to-back threes that tied it before Charlie Moore hit those free throws. So this guy was hot, and he dribbles just past half court, maybe like a foot or 2 past half court, and he was like fading out of bounds, like at the corner of half court, and he was just fading out of bounds, and it almost went in. They were down by 2, so if that went in, they would have won it. And let me tell you, whenever I was watching this game live, I thought he was going to make that shot because it looked good. He just hit back-to-back threes right before that, and I was like, no way this is going to happen. This is going to be crazy. It banks off the backboard, hits the front of the rim. So close. Miami survived that one just barely, but give it up for USC, man. They were fighting. Mobley had a pretty good game. But yeah, Charlie Brown, what's his name, had a really good game, but he fouled out with like 4 minutes to go. Miami finished the job without him. Good job, Hurricanes. Notre Dame versus Alabama, this was a close one up until halftime. Notre Dame pulled away and they controlled the majority of the game and there in the second half. Alabama, J.D. Davidson, he was starting to get a little bit of a run going for Alabama, but Notre Dame, shout out to Notre Dame because they had to go from Dayton all the way to San Diego in 2 days from the first 4 game where they beat Rutgers and then go to San Diego to face Alabama, and they won them both. And they really controlled this game. So shout out to Notre Dame. They get a day of rest, and then they're going to have to face Texas Tech. So that's going to be a challenge. They're going to have to be well rested to go against them athletes there at Tech. So then we got Virginia Tech versus Texas. Now this was a very popular 11/6 pick that a lot of people had, including myself. Like I thought Virginia Tech were going to go far. And I think I got a little bit of bamboozled here picking Virginia Tech because Texas played a really good game. Marcus Carr, he had this full, like 3/4 of the length court, half court shot that went in at the halftime buzzer. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, Texas really controlled this game, and VTech just couldn't get nothing done down the stretch. They weren't hitting their shots. When they had their chances, man, to come back into this game, they just couldn't get it done. There at the end, they did hit a couple of threes to make it a little bit closer than what it was there in the last 10 minutes. But yeah, Texas won this game. I thought Virginia Tech was going to make a run because last year we had a team like Oregon State who won the Pac-12 tournament. They weren't supposed to be there, kind of like VTech. But Oregon State was actually worse during the regular season last year than Virginia Tech was. Like, they weren't as close to the bubble. And then Oregon State made a run all the way to the Elite Eight last year, and I think I was kind of feeling like VTech could do a similar thing. But yeah, Texas versus Purdue next round is going to be a really good one. Now we get into another interesting game. Now this one, I know I said the Miami USC game, but this Chattanooga Illinois game was also very, very good. I mean, I thought Chattanooga had it, man. Chattanooga was up by 1, and Kofi Coburn clutched up because I think it was I forget his name, but he had a 1-and-1 free throw attempts. Illinois was down by 1, so he needed 1 for the tie, both for the lead. He misses the first one on the 1-and-1. Kofi Coburn grabs the offensive rebound, puts it up and in, gives Illinois the 2-point lead, and ultimately that is what did it. Sealed the win for Illinois. Chattanooga had a last-second shot opportunity there at the buzzer. They actually had 2. They missed a 3-pointer, got an offensive, or no. They drove it in, got a shot blocked, and then they got the rebound, had a shot at a mid-range for the win at the horn, missed it. Very close game. I thought Chattanooga was going to win, but Illinois survives and advances. That was a very fun game. That might have actually been my favorite game to watch today. That one and the USC Miami one, and then Iowa State LSU was also very, very good. So Cal State Fullerton versus Duke. Not much to say here. Again, another star who showed up. Paulo had a big game, and Duke really controlled this one the entire game. So not much to talk about there. Same thing, Arizona over Wright State. Arizona just beat them down the entire game. Wright State, they hung in there, put up 70 points, but just, yeah, Arizona's too good, man. Iowa State versus LSU. Now, this one was a very good game. How about this guy, Tyrese Hunter? He is a beast. He had almost 30 today, and yeah, I mean, pretty much half of Iowa State's points. Isaiah Brockington also had a good chunk of those points as well. And we knew coming into this game it was going to be a defensive battle, but Iowa State found a way through their 2 best players to get some offense going. Tyrese Hunter really having the game of his life today, as down the stretch he hit 2 threes, one a deep, deep 3 with LSU center right in his face. And it is, if you guys play basketball, shooting over a near 7-footer, or even just like anyone who's like super tall and lengthy, like shooting over their hand, you have to high arc it, and he hit back-to-back threes, one being super deep that sealed the game because they were at 56-54. They got the ball with, they had like 40 seconds left, so LSU, it was all on the table. They had to get a stop there. They weren't going to foul or try not to foul, and they were just going to try to get a stop so then they can have a chance with like 10 or so seconds left to go for the tie with a two-pointer. But Tyrese Hunter said, nah, we're not doing that, and he pulled a deep three with like 15 seconds ago. I watch a lot of games today, so if my timing is wrong, forgive me, but under 30 seconds for sure, he hits a deep three, which puts them up 59-54 and sealed the game for the Cyclones. That was awesome. I was going crazy when he hit that deep three, and yeah, he had the game of his life, man. This was another great game. I came into this video thinking, there's a lot of blowouts today because there kind of were, but there's actually a good chunk of good games I watched today. I mean, Davidson versus Michigan State. This was a very good game, and Davidson was looking like they were gonna win today. I mean, they are a very well coached team, and they got some hoopers, man. They were up there for up by 2 or so, but then Michigan State, with like about 6 minutes left, they go on like a 8-0 run, and then Michigan State's up, but Davidson never backed down. There's a few semi-questionable calls that didn't go Davidson's way, but then later on in the game, there was a call that went Davidson's way, and I thought it kind of balanced it out because we'll start there, actually. Davidson, I think they were down by 6 or so, and their point guard trips. He definitely travels, but then when he's on the ground after he falls down, he calls a timeout. They give him the timeout. They didn't call the travel. That's the call that went Davidson's way. There was another call that went Michigan State's way. The refs were not perfect in this game, but Davidson really fought hard in this game, and they never went away because they hit multiple threes I think 2 threes under 30 seconds, which kept them alive. Because I know they hit a three with like 4 seconds left, which put them down by 2. Then they fouled Michigan State with like 3 seconds left. They hit them both, so you're like, okay, the game's over, right? Hit them both. They're up 4. Then Davidson hits another 3. There's still 0.5 seconds on the clock. They're only down 1. And then they couldn't foul him again with only half a second left. As Michigan State, they threw the home run ball, caught it at the other end of the court. Time expires. Sparty moves on. Tom Izzo versus Coach K next round. It's going to be fun. Then we got UAB versus Houston. Now, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really watch this game because Houston was controlling it the entire time, and I was busy watching Davidson, Michigan State, because it was such a good game, and I wasn't really watching it. But Houston, they got a dominant win. From what I've seen, Jordan Jelly Walker, he didn't really have the best game. He had like 12 or 15. He had 12 points whenever I was checking the game, but it wasn't over yet, so he probably got a few more. So nothing crazy happened really there. Houston survives the 5-12 popular upset that happens a lot. Then we had TCU over Seton Hall. TCU dominated that game from start to finish. I did tune into this game for a little bit, and Mike Miles almost postered the hell out of somebody on Seton Hall. Like, I was like, oh my god. But yeah, Mike Miles is a really good point guard. I was watching this game for a little bit, and he had some nice assists. So look out for the Horned Frogs versus Arizona. That's gonna be fun. And then the last game, I was watching this game, and Colgate, coming out of the second half, man, they could not miss a 3-pointer, and I was like, this is the type of team, that this happens to. Like, if they're not missing their threes. And some bad things were happening to Wisconsin, like missing easy shots, and I was like, this is how 14 seeds upset threes. Like, it was really looking like Colgate was about to get this upset win, but Johnny Davis turned up when the time was needed, and he really pulled through for Wisconsin there at the end. Like I said, the Stars were shining, and Johnny Davis stepped up in the end, and Wisconsin went on a little bit of a run, and they won the game in the end. So the Badgers survive and advance. So not too many upsets today. The Stars were shining, and these solid higher seeds survive and advance, man. So it was a fun day of college basketball. Now let's get into who's winning our ESPN Tournament Challenge through the first round. All right, so our first place person is Kansas. That's all his name says is Kansas, and then tied for first place is Owen Jones, and then we have a bunch of people tied for third place, including Deep Fried Bracket, who was in first place yesterday. Not sure where my other first places were yesterday, but we got 2 new people in first place. Let's check out their brackets, see how they were doing and which picks they didn't get. So they had New Mexico State over UConn. They had Vermont upsetting Arkansas, which they got wrong. They had Colorado State winning, and they lost. But nobody that's went further than the Sweet 16 in this top part, so that's good for them. They still have all of their Final Fours, so that's looking good for them. They had Iowa, that was a popular bracket buster right there. They had USC winning. Okay, that was messed up their bracket there. And then Kentucky to the Elite Eight. That's gonna mess up their bracket, but that's not too bad. Still having 7 of your 8 Elite Eights. So that's Duke. He's looking pretty good, man. Duke, Kansas in his championship game. Oh, he had Kentucky in his Final Four. Okay, so he only has 3 of his Final Four. All right. Now let's take a look at also in first place we got Owen Jones 12. Owen the talking. Owen taking the bracket win. You know, he's in first place right now. We'll see. He also had UConn beating New Mexico State. He had Davidson beating Michigan State. He had Loyola over Ohio State. He also had Iowa over Richmond. And he also had Kentucky in his Final Four. And he had Indiana upsetting St. Mary's. So, he had Kentucky in his championship game. So, hey guys, be on the lookout because these guys are not safe in first place because both of them only have 3 of their 4 Final Four picks. So if you have all 4 of your Final Four teams still alive, then you can still make a comeback and win my group's bracket challenge. So we'll take a look at Henry's here. He's in third place. We have a bunch of people tied in third place. How's his Final Four? He still has all 4 of his Final Four. He has Providence and UCLA in his Final Four. So that's an interesting Final Four. I mean, I haven't seen that one before, so it could work out for him for the better if that ends up happening. So, yeah, very good, Henry. All 4 of your Final Fours are still in. Does he have all? He still has all 8 of his Elite Eights, so that's looking real nice for him. And, yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know your guys' favorite game from round 1, day 2 of March Madness. Also, tomorrow, during the round of 32, I'm probably going to be live streaming while I just chill and watch some games with you guys. Probably around 5 or 6 p.m. Be on the lookout for me to go live. So, yeah, we're going to be doing that. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new. Drop me a like. And, yeah, I'm out.